gorilla, nature. Bro, let's go skate. Dude, E equals MC squared. Nerd for life. Hello, hello. How's it going, you guys? Your boy Pastor Darius here. Super juiced, man. Things have been pretty crazy lately. I was able to make it across the country from all the way from California to Boston. I mean, oh my gosh, man. That had to be the craziest trip I have ever been on in my life. I mean, my goodness, you guys. Insanity, 100% insanity. But pretty much what I want to talk about is the things that I went through during that trip. Yeah, I'm gonna be real, man. That trip was pretty crazy. Like it was insanity, like, to say the least. I mean, it was pure insanity. I started off in California. Let's start from the beginning. So there was some time ago that I had actually met a girl, and I was texting her, and she just texted me randomly out of the blue. And so I made the decision to travel across the country from California or to travel across the country to go visit the girl. I went, she was living in Boston at the time when I messaged her, but I made the decision to travel across the country from Boston from California to Boston. And so, I hopped on a plane. I flew, I planned to take the trip all the way across the country. And, the crazy part is that when I arrived or right before I arrived, it was going to be leaving to go to Boston. The girl texted me, said, you know what, change your trip to Toronto in Canada. So I changed the trip to Canada. Luckily I had my passport, and I'm always about the international travel. I was actually more excited to go to Canada than I was to go to Boston. And so, initially I hopped on the plane, flew to Boston. I was in Boston for about 10 hours. I remember I booked an Airbnb there, and then, I flew all the way to Canada. And when I arrived in Canada, I messaged this girl, let her know. I was like, hey, I'm here in Canada. And then, it was crazy, man. Like, real talk, this girl just straight, like, ghosted me, bro. Like, straight ghosted me. Like, I was in Canada for like 3 days, and she straight up ghosted me the entire time, man. Like, straight up, she didn't, like, answer my call or nothing, man, for like, yeah, I mean, it was the craziest situation, like, straight up, man. And so, she did, answer one of my texts, and like the second day I was there, and then like I showed her a video that I was there. I was like, okay, so what's up? Are we going to meet up, or, and then she didn't, she literally just she just stopped messaging me after that, after I showed her the video that I was in Canada. And so initially I didn't end up seeing her the entire time I was there. So, I had to take the trip back, flew to Vegas, and then from Vegas back to California, all of that, man. Full ordeal. Never even got to see the girl. I mean, anarchy, man. Like, straight up anarchy. And then, essentially, when I got back to California, I decided, because that 10 hours I was in Boston, I was like, dude, man, Boston is lit. Like, real talk, man. I was like, dang, bro, Boston is lit, man. So I decided to hop on a plane, or I decided, no, not on the plane, but I decided that, you know what, I'm moving to Boston. And so, yeah, man, I literally packed up my stuff and I got out of there, man. Like, straight up, I was like, I've been living in Wisconsin. I had to make a decision. I had to move somewhere. And, Wisconsin was like, there's just no money to be made there. Or if there is, it wasn't there. It wasn't for me. I was not successful in their market. I tried buying a house. I tried selling the house, just trying to do everything on faith. And it's good, definitely 100%. It's always good to have faith and to believe for good things, but the fact is that like this world that we're living in is a practical world, you know. And you know, we can pray that the bills get paid, but if we don't go out and we don't work a job, then you know, most likely the bills aren't going to get paid. You know, you probably end up homeless on the street or something like that. If you know, we have to use logic and we have to use reasoning. And you know, as a man of great faith, right, I do a lot of things on faith. I went over there, I traveled all the way across the country to Canada and to Boston on faith, you know, and I just trusted God. I believed that I was going to get there safe and I was going to get back home safe, you know, and then I went even further. So now let's talk about, you know, the trip across the country from California all the way to, from California all the way to Wisconsin, because I had to go to Wisconsin, clear out my office, and then I had to go, and then from Wisconsin all the way across to Boston, right? Boston, Massachusetts. Crazy. So, you know, all the way from the Bay Area across the country. Literally, it took me about 3 days. And I drove across the country. Insanity, man. So let's start with the beginning. So first I hopped in the plane. Now, the crazy part is that when I left, it was April, right? Now, April is typically springtime, right? The winter is over, you know, it's springtime. The winter is clearly over. So like, I don't know what was going on. I guess what was it? Wyoming didn't get the weather there in Wyoming. Whoever's in control of the weather in Wyoming, they didn't get the message that, you know, that winter was over, because as I was driving through Wyoming, I hit the craziest snowstorm. I mean, literally, this has got to be one of the craziest snowstorms I have been through, right? Like, I mean, I'll put like a little video clip in there so you guys can see what I'm talking about, because I took video of it. But, you know, like, I mean, dude, it got to the point I was driving and, you know, I remember like I couldn't see the road, you know, like it was crazy, man. Like, dang, bro. You know, I'm a man of great faith, man. Like, I think that's why I'm here able to tell the story right now, because I know that for sure, somebody probably wrecked their car driving through that, because I mean, that had to be like literally like the snow. Like, it was like I was driving. I remember when I was driving direct. It was like at some point I was driving directly into the snow. Like, the snow was coming down and it was like literally coming from in front of me, so I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see the road, you know, and there were trucks out there, you know. The truckers, man, they just got to make it no matter what, man. So yeah, man, I had to pray, like, straight up. Like, there was a point where I was driving, I was like, Lord, please help. I'm scared, you know. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm believing that I'm gonna make it by faith. I believe, Lord, that your grace is sufficient. And God brought me through. Straight up, you guys, God brought me through, man. I made it through that crazy snowstorm in Wyoming, and then, you know, kept driving, and then it started raining in the next state. I mean, oh my gosh, man, it was crazy, man. But the trip was so long, man. And then finally I made it to I finally made it to Wisconsin, right? Like, after, you know, the first 2 days, right? But actually, it took me about a day and a half to make it to Wisconsin, roughly about 36 hours. And then it took me oh man, I can't remember the exact time. Dude, how long was it? Yeah, it was like a day and a half to make it to Wisconsin. Yeah, just about. And then I spent like 10 hours cleaning out my office, because I had to rent a storage space to put like all my stuff, like, you know, my tables and, you know, chairs and all that stuff. I had to put us in a storage unit over there, and It was crazy, man. So it took me about 10 hours, literally 10 hours, because I had to drive back and forth with multiple loads because I just had my SUV. Luckily, I was so blessed, man. Oh man, that was the craziest trip. Like the car that I'm driving now, right? Like I've had issues with that car for some time now. And I mean, dude, I tell you, God is so good. God is so good. We just have to operate by faith, you guys. I know that people who are watching this video, right? I know you guys have been through things in your life, and some of you may even be going through some things right now. And the crazy part is that in the middle of the storm, right? That's when you need to find peace. I tell you, man, I was terrified driving through that snowstorm, but God brought me through by faith. I just kept going. I kept going. I could have pulled off on the side of the road and it would have taken me even longer. But the fact is I knew where I was going. I knew that I had to drive across the country. So I didn't stop. I kept driving and I kept driving and I kept driving. And, before I knew it, the snow I had made it through. Literally, I made it through. And this is a message for you guys, right? Just like when Jesus was going through the middle of the storm, and the disciples, they were so worried because they were thinking that the boat was going to be capsized, right? And the fact is that Jesus is so good, right? God is so good to us. We are always so worried. Our life is filled with worries. We're always wondering, what if we lose our job? How are we going to pay for our bills, right? What if my mom dies? What if my brother dies? What if, the people around me, what if the person I'm in a relationship, what if they die? And we're filled with worries, filled with stress. I know there's a Bible scripture that talks about that too, talks about not worrying and not living our life in stress and anxiety, but actually having faith and just trusting God through those situations. And that's what we have to do, you guys. We have to continually have faith, and we have to trust God no matter what, because even when it seems like there's no hope for the storm to give up, the fact is that there is hope. There is hope. There's always hope. Sorry. My thing closed. My thing closed there. But yeah, so but yeah, man, when the disciples were when Jesus was in the storm with the disciples, the crazy part is that Jesus was there. Jesus was there in the storm. Jesus was there. And for some reason, the disciples couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out the fact that they had the God of all creation right there in the boat with them. And here they are. They had seen all the miracles that Jesus had done. They had seen Jesus, heal. They had seen Jesus heal people. They had seen all these miracles, turn the loaves into, the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and to use that to feed 5,000 people. They've seen all of that. And the fact is that, we need to learn to have faith and just believe for great things, to not live our life worried, stressed, living in anxiety, not understanding that the goodness of God is always with us. And that's the place that I'm choosing. So back to the story, because at the end of the day, right, when they woke Jesus up, Jesus came, rebuked the storm, right? The storm settled. And then the people were like, what? And all the disciples were like, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him, right? That's the God that we serve. That's how powerful the God that we serve is. Amazing. You guys we all need to learn to have faith and just trust in God. So initially I made it to Wisconsin, packed up all my stuff. And then I had another day and a half, roughly about day and a half trip. About a day, I would say another day, full day of traveling all the way to Boston. So, and essentially, I did that. I drove through all those different states, Pennsylvania. I drove through New York. I drove through, where was it? I drove to Illinois, Illinois. I drove through all these different states. And without a doubt, by faith, I drove, it was like 3,000 miles total, and 3 days, and God opened the door and I made it. You know, you guys, I know a lot of you are very stressed out. You're going through crazy things, right? There's rumors of war. We got the war going on in Israel. We got the war happening over in Ukraine. You know, we just got out of COVID. You know, like, it just seems like things are like, when is the break coming, right? The question is, we're all wondering, when is the break coming? Well, the fact is that the break comes when you decide that God is the creator of all existence. And when you make that decision, you'll start being able to do amazing things in your life. And you'll see that the things that were hard before will become easy. Because when you take out the stress and the anxiety away from your life and you just trust in God, I tell you, I want to say this one thing and then I'm going to end this. When I got to Wisconsin, I was not able to activate my Uber. It took about almost 4 or 5 days, like literally, before my Uber account got activated and then I could drive Uber. Now, I got activated, all that, right? And, you know, before I was actually driving DoorDash, and then I was doing Uber, and then I got accepted for Uber Eats, and then I started doing Uber Eats and DoorDash for the first couple days while I was waiting for my Uber transport to get approved. So initially, my Uber transport got approved, and then, you know what happens, you guys? Let me tell you what happens. About 2 days ago, I had rented a car. Everything was the blue Tesla 2022. And, you know, it was the craziest thing that ever happened that could happen, man. I was driving at like 2:30 in the morning, and then some kid who wasn't paying attention crashes into the back of my car. You know, I got worried. I got stressed out because I had been waiting for my Uber account to get activated. It took all those days, like 5, almost 6 days. And then I got activated, and then bam, here I go with this crazy situation with this kid. This kid crashes into the back of my car. What do I do? I'll tell you what I did, man. I recovered. I said, Lord, you are God. You know, we went through the full situation, filed the police report. Turns out that the kid was, you know, I don't know what the full issue was, but we filed the insurance claim. I filed the insurance claim. I did everything I needed to do. And the fact is that I walk by faith. I trust God. So I put away my stress. I put away my anxiety, and 100%, I just believe that God is good. And right now I'm getting ready to go tomorrow because I lost my license, you know, like, just, you know, my physical license. So I couldn't rent another car, or else I would already had another car the very next day. But, you know, I lost my license. So now I got to go to the RMV here and get another license. And, you know, this is just the type of things that we have to go through. It's one catastrophe after another, but we have to operate by faith. We have to trust God. Don't live your life in worry. Don't live with anxiety. Just have faith, believe that God is good. You guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And also, we have our GoFundMe going. Please, you guys, go and make a donation. You know, help support the little babies over there in Ghana. You know, I have people out there, and we're sending them. We need your guys' help. Click the link in the description and go make a donation. And, you know, so that we can help these kids to get education over there. You know, I'm a pastor. I'm a philanthropist. I'm a humanitarian. I have great faith, you guys. I believe for great things, and I want you guys to believe with me. It's your boy, Pastor Darius. Hope you guys enjoy this. Catch you guys next time. Peace.